Now, if
Oh,
you
I see.
guys do not know Darrell, man, you got to go check this man out. You talk about some information. He definitely puts stuff out that you can understand, clear and concise. Um, I love it. You know, everything. I think I binge watched one night and watched maybe 3 to 4 videos straight because he puts that type of information out. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to go
Yeah,
check this
definitely.
guy out at the Money Level Show on YouTube and also the Money Level Show on IG. And I just found out this afternoon he's on like 7 other platforms. So I'm gonna let him
Mhm.
share that with you, with the
Okay.
chat as well.
Yeah, definitely,
Hey,
definitely.
so Daryl, let me ask you a couple of questions, man. When did you start? Like, what? Because obviously, you know the benefits of having silver. You know the benefits of owning gold. What actually pushed you to, or gave you that nudge to actually think about buying gold and silver?
Oh man, it's been a wild journey, man. I went from being a drug dealer to finding my faith in God to graduating college to working in the criminal justice system to now I just finished my real estate license and got into investing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been a long journey, and when I began to jump into macroeconomics, at first I was just like, okay, the stock market's cheap. This was back in March. So for those who haven't been doing this a long time, I just started this year. I just started my stacking journey this year. And so, back in March when the stocks were cheap, I was like, this is the perfect time to buy. This is the time to buy. But I was only focused on stocks, like thinking about stocks. I had no understanding of the macroeconomics, national debt,
Hmm.
fiscal monetary policies, and how that affects the economy. Then I began to travel down this rabbit hole of learning more about the macro and how in danger our economy is, with the unemployment levels, the stock market being disconnected from Main Street
Hmm.
economy. But then I began to hear about gold and like how gold hedges against inflation and all those different things. And so for me, I used to teach Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University, and those are like basic concepts.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a hard time saving money. It was really hard for me to save money. I'm the type of dude that credit card maxed out. It's hard to save money.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the benefits of gold that I began to see was like I'm buying gold and it's money and I'm not thinking about it. It's not a
Mm.
number in my account that I'm thinking about.
Hmm.
And I'm actually been able to save way more money than I have before by buying gold or silver because I'm storing value.
Mm. That's a good journey. And I mean, from everything you stated, from learning about macroeconomics, understanding finances, and then to you coming to a head, the best way to save was with precious metals. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
where do you see your journey now? Now that you're in this arena of teaching now
hmm
macroeconomics and also precious metals, what message do you want to relay to your subscribers?
I really think about the long term picture. So when you look at macroeconomics, you're looking at like down the line. What's going to happen.
Hmm.
And right now our levels of debt is really high. And then we have what's talked about being a great resetting the financial economy, and all those different things. And it's like, okay, what does this look like for you and I? What does this look like for the person that's
Hmm.
that's doesn't have any precious metals or doesn't know anything about this stuff? Because like a lot of my family, I'm educating them, and this is their first time learning about this stuff. Like majority of the people I talk to, they do not think about this stuff.
Right.
And so I just made it my job to be able to educate people. So like every time I'm meeting with a friend, I have this conversation with them. And it's like, hey, you need to have gold and silver to fight against inflation, but also worst come to worst, you need it to barter. You need it to have something
Correct.
you can pass down to your kids because you pass down cash, you may have the same amount of cash in the future, but that cash is going to be devalued and you're not going to be able to purchase as much with it. So, that's kind of been my mentality.
That's a good point. And it ties into what Marshall Vincent has in the chat, and also I want to tie into what Marshall was saying. is that he says, Darrell, in your opinion, what is the best way to go, gold or silver?
I think both. I think diversity is important. You know,
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm in gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Whatever's out of the system, whatever's out of the dollar, I'm
Mm-hmm.
into. You know, and so I'm a firm believer in the metals, especially gold. Silver obviously has a lot more asymmetrical opportunity, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because silver is super cheap right now. So silver, you know, say the industrial um, people like Apple or Tesla or whatnot, they get behind silver. Silver is going to the moon.
Yes.
So you want to have some of that and be able to stack that. I mean, that's obviously cheaper. You can stack more of that than you can of gold because gold is, you know, more expensive. But I think just being diverse because we don't know, you know, what the future holds, and if you have all your eggs in one basket and one goes bad, then you out of luck, you know. So that's why I like to be diversified.
Good question. Good answer. What about something like life insurance? We look at what life insurance can be for passing down to our
Yep.
family members, and it's important to have something to take care of homes and also the afterlife of our children, for us, for our children and our
Hmm.
family. But when it comes down to inflation, speak on what do you think is a better tool, stacking and precious metals, or creating something such as death insurance.
Yeah, so I have both. I got my life insurance policy. I got a 20-year term because I dedicated to myself like in 20 years, I'm not trying to be working. So
Hmm.
I really gave myself that challenge. Like, and then once you get a certain age, if you're over 60, I think 50s and 60s, then life insurance goes up. The
Hmm.
price of it goes up. And so I was like, okay, within 20 years, I'm just going to give myself 20 years to get my stuff together and build wealth. And so like if death were to happen in the meantime, my family would be able to pay off the mortgage and they would have gold and silver, you know, to rely on and stuff like that. So I kind of just think about that, like, okay, because I'm the main provider in my household. You know,
Hmm.
my wife, she takes care of our daughter, and you know, if something were to happen, she could pay off the house. You
Hmm.
know, and we got a little something stacked, but I'm gonna keep stacking in the meantime. So I have both, but my main goal is like to be off life insurance and to be self-insured.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, if you got, you know, 500K in the bank or whatever, or investments, you know, passive income, gold, silver, whatever, you don't need life insurance
That's
because
true.
life insurance policy, they're like what, 250, 300,000,
Some
depending
for a
on the
mill.
person. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Depending on the person and how much your house costs, depending on where you live. If you live in California and your house is 500K, you owe 500K on it, you may need like a 750K life insurance
Hmm.
policy or something like that. But where I'm
So,
at, 250 is good.
so it's basically a what if, and I'm glad you have a strategy tied into place. And I wanted to mention this because I wanted to show people how in depth that you get into your information, and when you share it on your show, he really
Mhm.
breaks down the information so you can explain it. And even on the fly, asking him questions on the fly, he still gives out straightforward answers. So, guys, you got
Mm-hmm.
to go check out Money Level Show. You definitely in for a treat.
Most
And
definitely.
something as well when I first got introduced to Darrell himself, he actually hit me up. I think it was on Instagram, and he was like, "Hey, listen, I want to interview you. I only have a small platform, but such." And I was like, "Listen, I'll be honored to do the interview because it's not about the. I don't care if you only had one person watching your channel. I'll be honored to do it because hey, I feel that information needs to be shared and shown." So
Hmm.
Yeah,
when we
definitely.
came in and then when we did the interview, I think it was like a week after that we set up the time, and then I was just amazed by the level of education because most of my peers they don't have that. Like I could
Hmm.
talk to them, and I have to get down to their level to speak, to speak at their level and things like that. But when I was talking to Darren, I was like, man, this guy he speaks when he speaks, it's like you can understand him. Like I can relate to him. So
Hmm.
that's why when I did the interview with him, I was very happy with that. And JT, I think you said the interview that I did with him was it went over 800.
Yes, right now it's like 875 and plus.
Gotcha.
I think it will probably see 1,000 for the month. So it's a pretty good, solid video. 20 less than 25 minutes worth of info. Um,
Mhm.
but like once you put Eli on anything, Eli does great. You know, it's just I call him the man of the golden touch. So that's but along with the interview questions and how you conducted it, Darrell, you did a great job.
Mm-hmm. And
Definitely a great
he
job.
also did an interview with you as well too, JT, right?
Yep, he did an interview with me. I saw your interview and I had to contact him. I'm like, hey man, what's up?
Yep.
There
Definitely.
is another member of this of the wrecking crew. You know what I'm saying? So and we got it together and he was real flexible with the schedule and we
Gotcha.
made it happen. So
Yeah, we talked for about 42 minutes or something.
yeah, we definitely talked maybe 30 minminutes prior to even start
Yeah,
videoing. So
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for
we
real.
had a lot of things that we wanted to share. So when it actually started, I was like this because I thought we talked about everything. But I definitely had I definitely had a good time. I asked everyone to go over to check them videos out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I
Definitely.
really but we have something special and planned, but we're gonna go on a little bit more
Gotcha.
before
Now,
we talk
JT,
about that something
I do
special.
want to say, I totally forgot. You guys know me; I'm a forgetter sometimes.
Hmm.
But yes, I remember now.
It's the
So I do
flashing
want to
lights.
say, if you can, you can definitely if you could put his channel, like if you put his channel down in the comment, so people can definitely see it. I'll definitely say you'll enjoy his channel. The Money Level Show talks some great information. So if you
Hmm.
guys can show your support by going to his channel and leaving a subscribe and even his Instagram, and trust me,
Yeah,
you know you wouldn't want to. You'll get some great
yeah,
information about it.
Yeah.
Now,
I try to break down the macroeconomics and establish the case for gold.
hmm
Definitely.
Mhm.
And so, I've had a few debates and things like that I've actually crushed. And it's not like about like proving somebody wrong, but it's like if you don't understand history
hmm
and you don't factor that into what's happening, then you're just going to be just talking without the knowledge. And so,
that's
like, I had a few people that kind of challenged me, and they ultimately got embarrassed.
yeah.
Mhm.
You got to have the facts. The
Yeah.
facts.
Exactly.
The facts put everybody back. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Hitting numismatics said, I subbed to your channel, Mr. Dominic, a while
Hey,
back, and I truly enjoy your videos. God bless you, brother.
appreciate
Awesome.
you, man.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
Most definitely.
Awesome.
We also have Stacking Stormtrooper inside the house. JT Corn Rings are always like that. You know, he always have a joke for me. Um, we do have Green Go OG 22. Good
OG,
afternoon.
the original OG.
Most definitely. We also have, Michael M.
Hey,
And we have a question for you from exclamation thoughts. What are your what do you think about Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. Me and Eli, we had a long conversation yesterday. We talked for about an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and I talked about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin for me, obviously, it's not a physical commodity that's in your hand.
Hmm.
But it's been a case being made for it being a digital commodity. And as we see everything going digital and all those different things.
Hmm.
And so, as far as diversification, I
Hmm.
think that it could be something that could be good to have some in your portfolio. I do believe like in the decentralized money. A lot of times it's this war between gold and Bitcoin. Gold bugs versus Bitcoin bugs. And it's like, hey, at the end of the day, we're trying to protect our money against the federal government and the central bankers that are
Hmm.
printing so much money and devaluing the money and devaluing the dollar. So, I don't see any harm in holding a little bit of Bitcoin. I wouldn't go all in there. I would rather have, gold and silver in my physical possession. And then
Hmm.
even with Bitcoin, having a hardware wallet where you have your actual Bitcoin on that wallet and you have control of it, not on these counterparty platforms like
Like
Robinhood,
Coinbase.
Coinbase, all those different things. So,
Hmm.
if I could pass that down to my kids and say, Bitcoin is down the line is doing really well, then I'd rather give them a wallet. And
Yes,
you do
I
have a push for digital dollars, digital currency. So China issued their first digital currency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the U.S. they're working on theirs with Senate Bill 3571.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have a push towards digital money. And I think the Federal Reserve just approved the first cryptocurrency bank where you can transition your crypto into U.S. dollars. I think it's more of a, if you can't beat it, join them.
Right.
I mean, you got countries like Iran where the U.S. is banning Iran from using dollars in certain transactions, and they started using Bitcoin in those transactions.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting.
Right, it is interesting, and you see now platforms like PayPal now accepting Bitcoin, now using it as a vehicle for people to also store. So you see that even places like PayPal and other outlets, like you said, I think Cash App, it has Bitcoin. Everywhere cash can be used, they're now giving people the opportunity to transfer it over. So I think people should take the time to learn about it, even if they may be against it at this point.
And it's big to be like decentralized and have your privacy. You know what I'm saying? Like Bitcoin gives you that privacy because every transaction is anonymous.
Yes.
You know, and then same thing with gold. If me and you meet up and I trade you gold for something, that's the government don't need to know about that.
Most definitely.
And so that's kind of my thing. Is like, okay, what is decentralized? What is something that the government that can't see if I want to make transactions because cash is going away. So you want to have something that gives you that more of that privacy.
Okay. And anytime you want to meet up to transfer anything when it pertains to gold, Dominic, you can definitely come to Baltimore. I'll come where you are and we can make that happen. I will travel for gold.